coffee. Coffee with Tim Black. Yes, I am coffee. Coffee.
Okay.
With Tim Black.
All right, people. How y'all doing? Good morning, good afternoon, almost afternoon. It's almost afternoon. I'm running a little bit late because we had to get information on the tax plan. The tax debate last night was very interesting. It starred Ted Cruz against Bernie Sanders. They also brought along backup dancers, Tim Scott and Maria Cantwell, senator from Washington State. This was a very interesting debate. I had an opportunity to catch it. I was live last night. I caught it late in the early morning hours after having conversations with my good friend H.A. Goodman about some other issues that are crazy. Now, so what is this about this bill? Well, look here, guys. Here's the thing. Depending on the reason why it's so hard to parse out really what's good about this tax bill, because I don't see a whole lot good about it that will affect working stiffs, working people like you and I. Real Clear Politics says they like to focus on the Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz had a couple of good punches in on this debate. He said that Democrats have one talking point on taxes. It's a tax cut on the rich, and they say it over and over again in response to everything. The most important thing for you to know is that when you're at home is when they say rich, they mean taxpayer. Every time they say rich, they mean taxpayers. So Ted Cruz is focusing on Bernie Sanders' idea in order you increase taxes, but you cut things like what? Like your deductibles for your insurance, so no copays. When you reduce these, the overall plan, the comprehensive plan that Bernie Sanders had, the idea, which was we pay a little bit more in taxes, true, but you do not have to pay. You get free college, local tuition. You get free health care coverage. These things are huge, monumental. We know people who can't pay for their medications. They can't pay for their coverage. This would be eliminated. But Ted Cruz, he wanted to focus on that, and he did so to good effect. Bernie Sanders also had some good points in there. Let's go and see if we can find some good points made by Bernie Sanders.
And if you want to see a brighter future for the next generation, cutting taxes and economic growth is the way to go.
Thank you. Senator Sanders.
Gee, Ted, what tax bill were you talking about? Surely not the one that's coming before the Senate. Here are the facts. Despite what President Trump says, despite what my colleagues here will tell you, the tax bills both in the House and the Senate give the lion's share of tax breaks to the top 1%. 50% of the tax breaks in the House bill go to the top 1%. 60% go to the top 1% in the Senate bill. Now, at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, when the rich are becoming phenomenally rich, when corporate profits are at an all-time high, while the middle class struggles and we have 40 million people living in poverty, who in their right mind, in all due respect, believes that we should give massive tax breaks to millionaires, billionaires, and large corporations? Here's something else. This legislation will grow the deficit by $1.4 trillion. Mark my words. Mark my words. The day after or soon after this legislation passes, if it does, we're going to do everything we can to see that it doesn't. These guys are going to come back. They're going to say, oh, my goodness, deficit is soaring. We've got to cut Social Security. We've got to cut Medicare and Medicaid and education and programs that the middle class and working class families desperately need. This is a disastrous piece of legislation. We've got to defeat it.
Okay. This is very, Bernie Sanders made some good points there. If you believe his line of logic that once they increase the deficit, they're going to look for cuts in the budget, and those budget cuts would sit on the shoulders of working people, programs that benefit poor people, working people in America. I was looking at comparisons between the Bush program, Bush tax cuts. You remember Bush famously cut taxes. He did cut taxes. Now, according to the CBO, the Senate Finance Committee tax bill, while the Bush tax cuts didn't directly raise taxes on any households, the Senate bill would raise taxes on millions of them. Even excluding the effect of repealing the individual mandate, it would increase taxes on 87 million households. I was reading kind of fast, but we want to make sure we get that point. It says, the Senate bill would raise taxes on millions of them, even excluding the effect of repealing the individual mandate. It would raise taxes on 87 million households with incomes below $200,000 and more than a half of all households. I don't know how that's good. I don't see how that helps the middle class, who are getting these tax breaks that they talk about. The Bush tax cuts that they refer to, that Ted Cruz likes to refer to, substantially increased annual budget deficits and were responsible for a third of the national debt by 2018. Similarly, but at the time when the nation's fiscal outlook is far worse than during the Bush era. So the Senate bill will add at least $1.5 trillion to deficits over 10 years. I hear Bernie Sanders talk about 1.4, 1.5. Ted Cruz made comments about it as well. So where does that leave us? What are we looking at? I think that at the turn of since the Senate doesn't need to go to work with Democrats in order to pass legislation because they have been kicking the butt of the Democrats so much that they really, they don't feel an incentive to bring them to the table. If you don't bring Democrats to the table, then this bill can't pass because there are going to at least be a couple of GOP senators that have enough cojones to what? To not vote for it. I hope there's going to be a couple of them who won't vote for it. Bernie Sanders says this isn't about taxing the rich. The Democrats want to tax the middle class. The taxing the middle class, I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to not give tax breaks to the wealthy and the corporations. For some reason, there's still people that believe that if we give tax breaks to corporations, we give tax breaks to the most wealthy, that they're going to go out and spend a whole lot of money. Well, here's what I think, guys. I think that when corporations get windfalls in taxes, I think they put that money into their own salaries. I think they pass this money on to their investors. And look, that's fine if you're one of those investors, and that's great for you. And I understand there's a saying that, everyone's a Democrat until they're 40, and then they become a Republican. That's a saying. I've heard that saying before. So I've been trying to take time to look through and see, what is in its tax plan that's actually something that, hey, I'm over 40 now. Maybe I could benefit from this. Maybe it's something in here for me, but it's unconscionable. It's unconscionable that the poorest Americans would not get the same breaks that the rich people get, that the rich get, and that the corporations get. Small businesses are not going to be able to take advantage of a lot of these tax incentives that they're talking about. Senator John McCain, for example, said in 2000 that then Governor Bush's proposed tax cuts were misplaced because 60% of the benefits go to the wealthiest 10% of Americans. This is a repeat of the Bush tax cuts. Now, look, who won the debate last night? I don't know, guys. It depends on who you listen to. I would encourage you to check it out for yourselves. It's on CNN. It's on YouTube. It's all over the internets. I think that there was some points scored, and I'm now a fan of Miss Cantwell, Maria Cantwell. I like the way that she solidly answered questions, but there was one question. They asked Senator, I think it was Ted Cruz. Yeah, Ted Cruz asked her, what's the difference between a Democrat and a socialist? And guys, you got to check out the answer, the response to this. The response was, I know what you're trying to do, Ted Cruz. You're trying to divide us. We're a big party, a big tent. You know this thing the Democrats like to say, we have a big tent. Well, that didn't really answer the question, but it did peek us into, let us peek behind the curtain of what the thinking process is of senators, Democratic senators, and they realize that Bernie Sanders is where the enthusiasm, any enthusiasm that you do have within the Democratic Party, it lies behind Bernie Sanders. If you want enthusiasm, you need to brush up against Bernie Sanders, rub some of that all over you, because that is what is pumping through the Democratic Party right now. If it weren't for Bernie Sanders, and Ms. Cantwell knew this, that's why she was very delicate in her answer, if you want to call that an answer. It was more like josting, or jostlings with the pole, right? It was more like a balancing act to me. She did not really answer the question, but she did answer the question, which is, Ted Cruz, you better lay off Bernie Sanders and socialists. They're winning racists. We aren't really winning shit, and we need all the help we can get, and Bernie Sanders is providing the win beneath ourselves. Beneath ourselves, guys. That's what's going on. Jesus. All right. So that's the tax plan. That's the tax plan. Now, I'd like to switch to something else I think that's very interesting. I just did a video yesterday on, well, not yesterday, the day before yesterday. It doesn't matter when I did it. Go to my YouTube channel or go to timblacktv.com to find where I'm at on everywhere. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. You guys know. There was talk about Senator John Conyers. We all know he's these allegations, sexual misconduct, blase, and he's denying all of these allegations that have been leveled against him. Some of them I'm not too certain about. There was one, Lady Sloan talked about, a former staffer talked about Conyers yelling at her or something to that effect. What was more troubling was that she walked into his office. He was in his boxers. I made a comment about Grady from Sanford and Son. I think that's still funny. And I told Conyers to put his pants on. I think that's also funny. It's also relevant. But here's the thing. Nancy Pelosi said something on Meet the Press in defense of Conyers. I want you to take a look at that video in case you missed it. And let's see here. Let's see if we got that here. Let's open that up. Well, actually, let's make it a little. There we go. Check this out.
You said there's now a zero tolerance.
Yes.
John Conyers, what does that mean for him right now?
Let's say
in or out?
We are strengthened by due process. Just because someone is accused, and was it one accusation? Is it two? I think there has to be. John Conyers is an icon in our country. He has done a great deal to protect women, Violence Against Women Act, which the right wing is now quoting me as praising him for his work on that, and he did great work on that. But the fact is, as John reviews his case, which he knows, which I don't, I believe he will do. I believe that he will.
How is it that
excuse me, may I finish my sentence?
Sure.
That he will do the right thing.
And is the right thing what? Resign?
He will do the right thing in terms of what he knows about his situation, that he's entitled to due process, but women are entitled to due process as well.
But he got it. He took advantage of a situation where he had the rules of Congress, and I know you guys want to change these rules, but he got to hide his settlement. He got to, his accusers had to go through all sorts of craziness. So why is he entitled to new due process in this case?
No, we are talking about what we have heard. I've asked the Ethics Committee to review that. Yeah. He has said he'd be open. It will cooperate with any review. Excuse me?
Do you believe John Conyers is accused?
I don't know who they are. Do you? They have not really come forward. And that gets to
you don't know if you...
Now. Okay, so that was horrible. Nancy Pelosi, I don't know why she's still in this job. I've been commenting about that for quite some time. I got some pushback on it from people who say, well, it's not her fault that the party's been losing. And now we know that, Barack Obama, he basically ransacked the DNC, and they couldn't fund candidates, down-ticket candidates. That's part of the reason why they lost 1,000 seats in the last decade or so. But here's the thing. Nancy Pelosi, ineffective. But what I would like to point out here is the disingenuousness of that clip. Because what I'm reading today is that they're pushing for Conyers to resign from the Congressional Black Caucus, and that tangentially, Nancy Pelosi is all for it. Now listen, guys. Listen. It's important because several Black Caucus members in talks with Conyers to get him to resign. Several Congressional Black Caucus members are in talks to get veteran Rep. John Conyers to resign amid allegations of sexual misconduct. Several Democratic sources told CNN on Tuesday. Those members are trying to ease his exit without trampling on his legacy during his 50-plus years in the House. Conyers, a Michigan Democrat, is the largest currently serving member of the House of Representatives. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi is not leading the effort, but is tacitly supporting it, according to Democratic sources. A staffer to a member of the Congressional Black Caucus told CNN that there is a feeling among some of our members that we need to protect his legacy, noting that Conyers is a founding member of the group and was a leading figure in the civil rights movement. The House Ethics Committee announced last week it had opened an investigation to allegations against Conyers after BuzzFeed reported that he settled a wrongful dismissal complaint in 2015 after allegedly assaulting harassing a staffer. A separate woman told CNN Tuesday that Conyers made 3 sexual advances toward her when she worked for him in his district office in Detroit from 1997 to 2005. Conyers has denied wrongdoing on both cases, has repeatedly said he will not resign from Congress. On Sunday, he did step down from the House Judiciary Committee. Now, what's so interesting about that is because you just heard the clip, and it sounded a lot like Nancy Pelosi was saying that Conyers needed due process. I'm not suggesting that Conyers should not step down. I don't know if he should step down, but Nancy went on the record. She went out there and she said, hey, well, you know, this guy's an icon, and we don't know his accusers, which is BS, because the accusers that are noticed in this settlement, there were 5. There were 4. There was the woman who filed the lawsuit against Conyers, who ended up getting the monetary reward, right? Judgment, settlement, right? There were also 4 other women, 4 women who signed affidavits who attested under perjury, right? That's under perjury, right? You sign an affidavit. That's a legally binding document that Conyers had also sexually harassed them. So it wasn't just that one woman. And if I know that, and I'm just Tim Black here, TBTV, not funded by the DNC, the GOP, or the RT, or the TYT, or any other organization, but if I know that, and I'm able to uncover that, why can't Nancy Pelosi know that? Obviously, she has to know that. She's just being disingenuous, and I think that's kind of typical. So anyway. Anyway, oh, okay. So a lot of us who watch, TV, if you watch any TV, if you watch any cable news, if you watch any political humor and political satire, I'm talking about Stephen Colbert, Trevor Noah, Seth Meyers, what's the woman's name? Samantha Bee, any of these shows, all these shows, John Oliver, any of these shows, Tim Black, Lee Camp, Jimmy Dore, but hold on, not us, not independent media, but if you watch their media, any of it that's satirical in nature at all, that uses humor at all, well, you'll know that they all hit on Donald Trump. Well, just out. Jimmy Fallon tried to break rank and stop talking about politics and stop hitting Trump, and what happened to his ratings? What happened? You know what happened, don't you, folks? Come on, Periscope, I know you know what happened. Hashtag plunge. It took the plunge is what happened. That's right. Ratings for NBC's The Tonight Show are lagging behind the network's competition on CBS as rival host Stephen Colbert has made crucial gains among key demographics, according to the New York Times report. The Times reports that NBC host Jimmy Fallon was overtaken by Colbert in the ratings earlier this year and is now in danger of losing its crucial 18 to 49 demographic that advertisers covet the most. Colbert cut into Fallon's lead among younger viewers in the November sweeps period, finishing just 57,000 viewers behind him, according to data from Nielsen's. That's compared to a gap of 364,000 in the same demographic a year ago. Now, they say the reason for this is that he stopped talking about politics. He stopped talking about Trump, more specifically Trump politics. Not just politics, because, they don't really talk about politics. They talk about Trump politics. They hit Trump on stuff, and the reason why they do it is because it's a ratings boom. It gives you ratings. That's what it does. And this is what he had to say. Earlier this year, Fallon explained his reluctance to introduce more politics to his show, as Colbert and Kimmel have done in the face of a Trump presidency. And he said this, "It's just not what I want to do. I think it would be weird for me to start doing it now," Fallon said. I don't really even care that much about politics. I gotta be honest. I love pop culture more than I love politics. I'm just not that brain. Okay. He says, I always make jokes about the president, but with Trump, it's just like every day is a new thing. He gives a lot of material, a lot of stuff it's hard to even make a joke about. It's just too serious. Yeah, it is pretty serious. But see, here's the thing. You're in a hack network. You got to be a hack if you're on a hack network in order for you to maintain your spot. I expect to see Jimmy Fallon come off his high horse and start doing what all the rest of them do, which is bash Trump on a daily basis. This is what pays the bills. That's why they do it. So when we say we're getting tired of hearing them bash Trump all the time, let's get on the real news. Let's get on the real hard-hitting stuff. Well, except for John Oliver, because I got to admit, John Oliver does cover other issues. I mean, he covered net neutrality. I don't remember Seth Meyers covering net neutrality. Did he cover net neutrality? He may have. I don't know. I don't watch him. But I know that John Oliver does cover a lot of issues, civil asset forfeiture, these other issues. I've seen him cover that. I don't like the way he treated Susan Sarandon or Dr. Jill Stein, though, particularly Dr. Jill Stein. He kind of kneecapped her in order to help the Hillary wing or whatever. Kind of pissed me off. But the point is, if you didn't know by now, talking about Trump gets you a lot of money, and I don't mean talking about him in a positive light, but it's real easy to bash Trump because he does a lot of bashing things that you would bash him for. Still very interesting, and that's just what we're talking about.
Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions.
Yeah, they're playing with your money. They're playing with your emotions. Woo! Coffee with Tim Black is a daytime show. We do it over coffee. I'm pumped up off caffeine right now. And I woke to this story, you know. Mrs. Black sent me this on her way to work. It's very interesting. Matt Lauer of the Today Show was canned. He was canned after complaints of inappropriate sexual behavior. Matt Lauer fired from NBC News on Wednesday after an employee filed a complaint about inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace. The network announced. Savannah Guthrie made the announcement at the top of the Today Show. We are devastated. The Today Show is one of the most popular and most profitable franchises on American television. Lauer was the cornerstone of the program for 2 decades, so his sudden ouster comes as a shock to viewers, but not as a complete surprise to his Today Show colleagues. Not as a complete surprise to his Day Show colleagues. Hold on. This is interesting. Hold on.
Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
Oh, it says they knew. His colleagues knew that news entities were investigating Lauer's off-camera conduct. Oh, no. Who knew this was going on? I had no idea. All right, so you mean to tell me I'm surprised, you may be surprised, but the people that work with him weren't surprised? Why? Because he was doing the thing that he's being accused of doing, and it wasn't just one. Now, this is something I wanted to point out because it was something in her statement that I wanted to shed light on. Do they get to it here? Anyway, NBC News Chairman Andrew Lack said in an early morning memo to staff that the complaint was filed on Monday night. The complaint was filed on Monday night. Here we go. Wednesday, he's already out the door. There must have been a lot to it. But he also said we were also presented with reason to believe this was not an isolated incident. This was the same statement that the ladies read on the air this morning. And I was thinking, wow, this is not an isolated incident. Meaning he's done this before. He's done this with other people, meaning there were probably multiple accusers. There has to be more to it. If you say it's not isolated, does that mean that one woman, or is it not just one time that he harasses one woman? So this is what I'm kind of concerned about. What do you think, guys? I think that's kind of telling. Right? I feel it in my bones. Listen to this. It says, indeed, Lack and the NBC News executives have known for weeks that damaging stories could be coming out soon. They knew this for weeks. Now, I'm gonna take a pause from Matt Lauer just for a minute because there's something I want you guys to know. I want you to know this because it's something that I looked up today that I was totally unaware of, and I don't know if I can bring the screen in on this, but there is a New York Times article. There's a New York Times article that is very interesting. It highlights 34 accusers. 34 accusers. And it's in a chronological now. The last date, last update was November 21st. So, today's what, the 29th? So this is a week behind. But I'm looking at all these men, and I'm noticing something that's very similar about all these men. Right? Something is a running thread with all these men. There's a couple things. One of these things is that these men are all powerful men. These are all powerful. They're also all white guys. These are all older white guys who have power to certain degrees, varying degrees of power, but all powerful in their own right. So I think that's very interesting, and I want you to keep that in the back of your head because we're going to come back later before I wrap this segment. Because there's a point to that. I'm not just saying that to be divisive. I'm saying it, first of all, not to be divisive, but because it is a fact. And I'm saying it because there's grounds for what I'm going to close with. Now, that was pretty good. I like that. Remember who these people are. Okay. Now, there were multiple victims, Sedatoda tweeted. Lauer was not immediately reachable for comment by CNN or NBC News spokesman. They declined to comment beyond the information in Lack's memo. Lauer was informed of the network's decision late Tuesday night before he went to bed, according to a source with knowledge of the situation. And Guthrie, his co-host for the past 5 years, was told overnight. We were both woken up with the news kind of pre-dawn, Guthrie's co-host Oda said, and we were trying to process it and get the meaning of it, and it will take some time for that. Lauer is the latest high-figure man in the media to be brought down by allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior. Then they go into listing all the other people who have been brought down, all the other people who have been fired, resigned, or put on absence or whatever, leave of absence, what have you. Okay, here's the thing, all right? Now, can I lean in a little bit? Can we lean in? All right, check this out, guys. There's a lot of men. There are a lot of men out there who are complaining about this recent rash of people being outed for sexual allegations, sexual misconduct allegations that have been proliferating across the internet and hitting various high-figure people. Here's the thing, guys. Yes, I want to go on the record. I want to make this clear. False accusations, they should be sued until, sued into oblivion. You need to be sued to the point where your red bottom shoes no longer are your red bottoms. The shoes should be given everything. You should lose it all if you are making false allegations that ruin someone's career, ruin someone's life, ruin someone's marriage. Okay, that is not what we're talking about here. Okay, so yes, you should have to produce evidence, and I believe that if you are accused of something, you should have to. The accuser you at least should know who the accuser is. Okay, when I get these unnamed, no-named allegations from people, this source, this woman says, and I don't even know who this person is. Okay, if you come forward, and I encourage all people to come forward, we should all come forward, but the name should be known. Like, we should know who the allegations, who's making the allegations, and if I don't get to know, it's not because I'm nosy, it's just that I believe that if you can make these allegations, you should go on the record. You should go on the record, I believe that, okay? All right. So anybody should be able to face their accuser. I don't care who it is. If you say someone stole out of the store, the store should be able to say anonymously. You don't get to know what store said you stole. Who said I stole? You stole out the store. What store did you say I stole out of? At least tell me the store name. Tell me the branch name. Give me something. Give me something to go on. So I think that men should be given that same level of equal treatment. Okay. That's just respect. That's just human nature. That's how our justice system should be built, okay, and that's how it should function. The other thing is this. This is elite bullshit, okay? If you are working stiff, like I was a working stiff, I had a job, had to punch it. I remember doing my time sheet. When you are working stiff, stop acting as if this pertains to you, okay? Working stiffs have been getting fired for sexual harassment forever. This is not a new thing. It's not a new thing at all. If you work 9 to 5, you had to sit through. I remember, Brother Tim Black got a few years under his belt. He got a little bit of road on his tires. You know what I'm saying? A little mileage on his tires. A few miles on his odometer. Okay, so I remember when we had to sit through sexual harassment training in the workplace. I remember the 90s. Okay, the Mad Men shit has been gone for a very long time. Us working stiffs had to deal with it back in the 90s. A friend of mine got fired for just telling a woman that she looked nice today. Okay? Now, I don't know how he said it because I wasn't there when he said it. Here's the thing. Working stiff guys, stop worrying about this. You know, you want to fight this battle, you want to jump into it because Charlie Rose, because Al Franken, because Kevin Spacey, because John Conyers. These are all powerful people. All these people are very powerful people. It's time for the elites to have to deal with life the same way we have to deal with life. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's time. It's past due. It's overdue. You know how many guys have lost jobs at plants because they said the wrong thing and the woman went to the human resource department and HR called him into the office and then he was put on leave and then they let him go because they didn't even want to deal with it? Do you know how often that happens? This is not rare. We're not seeing a yellow elephant. This is regular stuff. It happens to people like you all the time. If you are an hourly employee, then you know what I say is true. I've worked in every collar there is. I've worked in blue collar, white collar, purple collar. I've worked in every collar that there is imaginable. This is not a new thing. So, gentlemen, please stop pretending. Stop taking up arms on an issue that no one fought for you. No one fought for you if you got fired from Maytag or Walmart. No one's going to fight for you. You're not going to make the news. You know how many men, regular working stiff men, get fired for this? No fanfare, no nothing. So stop, miss me with the taking up for these guys as if now it's going to affect you. No, if it hasn't affected you up to this point, just keep your nose clean. Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your comments to yourself. This notion that, you know, that this is now, this wave is coming. No, this wave has finally reached up. See, the trickle down, this is the trickle up. This is trickle up economics. You know, a lot of my people in my conservative people who vote for these tax plans to think trickle down economics. Well, this is trickle up, sexual misconduct, Grim Reaper coming for them. Okay? That's what's happening here. And excuse me if I fail to have a lot of sympathy for rich, powerful people finally getting treated like poor people have been treated forever. All right? How working class people have been treated forever. All right? At least for the last 30 years, last 20 years, 30 years, almost 30 years. So miss me with that. All right? So, and if you look, and I can tell you, I looked at this list, and this is the reason why this page is so important, because I don't see a single solitary person. Now, for whatever reason, John Conyers is not on this list, but I don't see working class people or black people or Latino people or a bunch of Asian guys. I see a bunch of rich white guys on this list. That's because they already fired all the black guys, man. They already fired all the poor working white guys. They already fired all the poor Asians. We already got fired. They're not on the list. You're not going to make the list. Okay, so though I'm looking at Louis C.K., I'm looking at, who's this guy, Benjamin? I don't even know this guy, Benjamin Janashi, worked with executive director at the Armory Show Art Fair. He got fired. He got replaced. We got Jeffrey Tambor, actor. I didn't even know this guy was accused. Like, there are people under the radar who have been swept up in this who are all very successful, very, very popular, rich people who are well-to-do, who are not going to be on the bread line, who are not going to be wondering if they're going to have a place to live tomorrow or next month, if they're going to be able to make the bills or if their car's going to get repossessed because they're out of a freaking job. No, that's us. That's us working people, okay? So let's and I could go down this list. It's a long list. I'm going to put this list, all right? I'm going to put this list, the link to this, in the description box below, because I want people to chill out, man, and stop caping for these rich white guys, man. These guys ain't caping for you. You think they cared if you lost your job at the mall because some woman said you grabbed their butt? No, they wouldn't care. They would not be in comment sections acting like this is, now we in trouble. No, we already been in trouble. We already been in trouble. Have I made my point yet? Tired of it, man. Tired of it. These corporations are firing these men not because I don't even think they really care about these women. What they care about is liability. They do not want liability. They have lawyers on staff who do not want them to be liable for the actions of their employees, or with their contracts, or if you're bad for publicity, or if you're bad for the brand. This is why these people have been let go. Come on, Matt Lauer. Look, this guy, for instance, Matt Lauer, $7 million. How much? 10 million, 15 million? This guy flies in a helicopter to work. Uli, what does he do? Take a helicopter to work? Why are we crying about this guy? This guy is fine. He don't have to work for the next 4 years if he don't want to anyway. He could just write a book about how he's been wronged, and all his elite friends will go out and buy it. That's what will happen. That's what will happen. No one's going to, you can write a book, no one's going to buy, I lost my job at the plant. I lost my job they said I can't come back to the plant. No one's buying that book, man. No one's going to care. So I just think we need to really chill out. We need to stop. Look, it's a new day, okay? Okay? It's time. It's time. It's been past time. Man, it's past time, okay? Of course, there will be false allegations, okay? But that is a small percentage compared to the actual, real, factual allegations. People have been getting away with murder for a very long time. Sexual misconduct is a problem, okay? And people need to learn, keep their damn hands to themselves. I don't know how these people stay. Look, I don't know how they stay in these jobs by conducting themselves in the way that I've been seeing. There's one man on this list who's been accused of rape twice. You know? So anyway, that's all I got for you. It's crazy. I hope that we can come to an understanding. I'm on your side, but come on, be on your side. Don't be like these people who vote for horrible tax plans that don't benefit them, that give cuts to the top 1%, that crushes people under $75,000 and you make 60. Like, stop fighting for that tax plan. If that tax plan don't help you, don't fight for it. I feel the same way about this latest wave of sexual allegations. What are you yelling about? This is for the people on top who have been getting away with it, been doing it unmitigated, unhampered, unobstructed misconduct for decades. Like this guy Harvey Weinstein, unchallenged, unchecked power for decades, and now you're upset. Like Harvey Weinstein would not have a beer with these. Come on, don't give me this. These are not regular. These are not. All right, you can see I'm passionate about this. As I see people in my comment section, I see them. They're going crazy. Don't sell out. Don't sell out. You caping for women, dude. No, listen, and all you guys out there, look, it's not about caping. Look, if you got a wife, a mother, a sister, a daughter, come on. You don't want to treat her like that. Come on. You know you don't. All right, so that's it, guys. Go to TimBlackTV.com. Once again, this show is brought to you by TimBlackTV.com. It's not brought to you by the DNC, the RT, TYT, Our Revolution, any other entity, GOP, any of these entities, any of these slanderous, any of these, none of them, no think tanks, none of that is brought to you by viewers like you. This is Coffee with Tim Black. I see you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Jennifer Vickers, my Facebook crew, my people on YouTube. If you're out there, holler if you hear me. Truth Can't Be Silenced. Stephanie Chateau, Momo Pineno, and all my people out there in Periscope land. Hit me up. I'm the real Tim Black. I see you on the next one. And with that, I need some more coffee.
Coffee with Tim Black. Yes, I am. Coffee. Booyah. With Tim Black.